Everyone, this is Nikachu, Merfolk Master, and I'm here taking a walk with Chubby Meatball. And while I take this walk, I'm taking a break today from a lot of the preparation I've been doing for Grand Prix Minneapolis. But it's not necessarily just play testing preparation that I've done. It's actually a little bit more than that. I've been gathering around the last few cards for my deck. I've been gathering around sleeves. I've been thinking about my sideboard guide, and I just want to let you know in the next few days that what I want to have done before I take my trip to Grand Prix Minneapolis. I see we got Sam Goldman locked down. We got a lot of people in the chat. HSIF, a lot of familiar faces. Thank you for joining me today. So while I take this nice walk with Chubby Meatball, letting you know what I've been doing. So first off, before you go to a Grand Prix, a very big tournament, they're gonna have vendors there, but you really wanna have all your cards ready. Make sure you have your 75. So I guess the first thing is be either aware of what your 75 could be or what could possibly be in that 75. I personally like to be locked into my deck like well before Friday, maybe like one day before I start playing games. So if I'm gonna play side events on Friday, then I want to be locked into my 75 on Thursday. If I'm gonna play the GP on Saturday, then I'm gonna make sure I'm gonna have my deck ready for Friday evening. But you got to bring the cards. You got to bring the cards, people. Don't go to the Grand Prix assuming they're gonna have everything, because you could risk them not having it. So I went out to go get some final touches. I gathered a Cavern of Souls and some Chalice of the Voids from my local game store. So there's a Grand Prix going to be in Minneapolis in the United States. Well, it's not really daylight. It's actually evening. The sun is coming down. The sun is coming down. Gavin, I'm locked into Simic. Yeah, I'm playing Simic. I'm locked into Simic. I got an extra Cavern of Souls. I'm going to be playing 4 Cavern of Souls in my list. I'm pretty sure. I don't know, but just in case I have it. And I got the 3rd and 4th Chalice of the Void for myself. So I got some extra cards for Simic. Made sure that was ready. But I want to tell you, get the card. If you know staple cards at the Grand Prix, you can definitely buy them. Like it's pretty reliable. If you're going to play Hogak, you can find some Vengevines there. Unless like it's going to be super popular. I mean, it's possible they'll be sold out because Hogak will be the deck to beat. And it's we're in a metagame right now. You either play Hogak or you get beaten by Hogak. So you have, or are you gonna play Hogak, or are you gonna be the person to beat Hogak? You better have a good plan, and I hope I do have a good plan. I'm pretty happy with the Simic Merfolk build that I'm gonna be playing. So so you can account for staples at a Grand Prix. There's gonna be many vendors. They're gonna have staples. But what about niche common cards? What about niche uncommon cards? You can't guarantee that they're going to have everything. What is a pretty good example for Merfolk? That would be Seize Claim is a fantastic example. That's not a card you want to wait to the Grand Prix to start buying. You have to find that at your local game store. You make sure that you have these sort of niche weird cards with you before you go to the Grand Prix, because they're not bringing their whole inventory. They're going to bring all the fancy flashy stuff. They're going to bring all their alpha and beta cards. They're going to bring dual lands. They're going to bring foil rares, foil Liliana of the Veils, and all the big common rare staples that you would find. But they're not going to have they're not going to bring all commons with them. The vendors aren't going to bring all the uncommons, especially if they're not super well known. So you have to bring those yourself. You got to make sure. Yeah. Very few of our cards are staples. That's right. I mean, I could totally see a GP where they don't have Tidebinder Mage or something like that. So you got to make sure that you bring these cards ahead of time, or else you're gonna get screwed. You can account for some rares. Like I would definitely assume that there's going to be Lord of Atlantis waiting for you. I can assume that there's going to be Master of the Pearl Tridents, even Master of Waves, Silvergill Adept. But weird commons, uncommons, I wouldn't entirely count on it. So you have to make sure you get those things locally. Get them locally. Hi, Lord Magicus. Hey, Lockdown. I'm doing good. Chubby Meatball constantly crying to go out, Chubby Ball. And now you're out. Now you're happy. looking off into the horizon. She's doing great. She's happy, then I'm happy. So make sure you got your cards ready. Now, next thing is, I don't like to spend a lot of mental energy like mulling over my deck list. I try to be like pretty locked into my deck, and it's today's Tuesday, I'm gonna be traveling on Thursday. I'm gonna be locked into my deck by Wednesday. And you know what, I'm gonna play side events on Friday, and whatever happens in those side events, I really don't care. They're not representative of the Grand Prix. A lot of people like to look at the side events saying, oh, there's so much of X deck here. Oh, there's so much of this and that. I've got to be prepared. Those side events don't mean crap. In fact, the side events, and especially the Grand Prix trials, they're going to be full of, like, basically not really the best players. I mean, if you've got a ton of buys, then you're not going to be in the last chance trials playing for buys. So these are the people playing from like round 1, and is not representative of the winning metagame. So I try not to take any of that into consideration. People are borrowing decks. People are still feeling things out. It doesn't matter. So whatever I go to the Grand Prix with, I'm basically going to stick with the deck. What is not true, Sam? Let me know your opinion. I'm not Gavin Stewart, how are you feeling with the fringe deck matchups? I'm gonna be okay. I'm gonna be okay with the fringe deck matchup. It's going to be like a bunch of 1-drop creatures and a bunch of lords, and hopefully that's gonna carry me there, and I'm gonna have some counter spells. I'm going to, yeah, that's about it. You just try to outmuscle those like the fringe matchups. Like, a lot of people will come with like fringe matchups and stuff like that. Some people grind GPTs for buys. Yes, some people grind them for buys. But what I'm trying to say is that, like, the pros won't be there because they don't need any buys. People who have 2 or more buys are not going to be there. Oh, for ticks? No, but then you could just play side events, Sam. Side events also give you good value for ticks. In fact, there's going to be an MCQ on Friday morning, sucking away people. Like, there's good value also in the side events. It's not like there are 0 good players in side events. The percentage is just a lot lower. Yes, it's just a lot lower. It's not going to be, I just don't think it's representative of what you're going to see at the Grand Prix. Not that even matters. It's like such a small portion. You're in a pool of, like, I don't know, 36 players or so, and the Grand Prix is going to be like over 1,000 people. Do you, Sam? Like, is the EV really higher? So Sam Goldman says that you can make more ticks in the GPT trials, but I don't know if that necessarily means that is better EV. There is a difference, because it's single elimination. So the moment you get eliminated, you go bust. I don't know how many times you have to win in order to grind more ticks. Well, maybe there's something to it. I don't really like to rely on GPT trials to get an idea of the metagame. That's why I just lock my deck in early, and then I don't worry about it. Whatever I play in the side events, whatever I play in the GPT trials, it's not going to influence me changing my deck. I just run with it anyway. So a lot of people are asking me, am I going to play Silvergill Adept? I don't know. I'm going to have to find that out tomorrow. I'm going to have like maybe one more good league, but right now I'm off Silvergill Adept. I'm actually just going to be off Silvergill Adept. The deck is so powerful. I just had a match against, like, one of my last matches against humans. I played some Silvergill Adepts and I died. You look at the humans matchup. You look at humans as a deck. What is their card advantage spell? Do they care about card advantage? They don't care about card advantage. Just brute force power. It's just tons of brute. They don't have any card advantage spell. They used to play with Bugler, but then they just dumped it. They dumped it for just power. It's power and interaction. That's all a humans deck is right now. So I like to take a page out of the humans deck and say, do you know what? We can play with more power. we can play with more interaction. That's what we should do in Modern right now. Because if you play turn 2 Silvergill Adept, you're so far behind. You're so far behind so many decks. You can't block with that thing. You can't attack with that thing. So your third turn, you're still doing nothing. Better is play like Lord turn 2, attack on turn 3, or start defending by turn 3. By playing another Lord on turn 3. So Lord turn 2, Lord turn 3, or at least play some interactive creature. Tidebinder, Harbinger of the Tides, Merfolk, Trickster. And yeah, it's not, Silvergill is not where it used to be. Trickster. And yeah, it's not, Silvergill is not where it used to be. A lot of people are asking me what kind of hate that I'm going to bring. I'm going to bring Grafdigger's Cage. It's not the best, but that's what I'm going to do. Yes, it's in the flex spot, but it's not a 4 of, and sometimes they dump it. But that being said, I do like how Merfolk is still positioned. We're getting a lot of 5-0s, by the way. 5-0s on a regular basis on the 5-0 dump. Someone also just recently got a 5-0 with my deck list, but we have a lot of other deck lists getting 5-0s between Cloudstone Curio, Mono Blue, Simic. I do like where Merfolk is right now. We are, even though they're merging the leagues, I still think we're getting more 5-0s than we would have ever in the past. So it looks like Merfolk has a lot of game in today's metagame. It has enough interaction and enough speed to carry us. And the reason why I'm dumping Silvergill Adept, because there's just not enough Blue-White Control in Jund. It's just not enough Blue-White Control in Jund. How are you in the mirror match? It's pretty random. It's pretty random. The mirror match is actually quite random. Why 4 Cavern of Souls? To make the green spells a little bit more consistent, and also I took out 2 Mutavaults for the extra 2 Cavern of Souls. I took out 2 Mutavaults for another 2 Cavern of Souls. You'll see the gameplay by next week, but that was the reason. I'm hoping it makes the deck more consistent. Again, like Mutavault on turn 2 sets you far behind. I'm not playing. If I don't play with Silvergill Adept, then I need the really greedy mana. The deck is just full of like blue spells, blue-green, stuff like that. So the Merfolk matchup is crazy. What other things have I prepared for? So I haven't done it yet, but I will have a sideboard guide. I like having that early in advance. I will be using my own sideboard guide for this event. I always do it. I look up my opponent's deck lists. What are they running? What are they doing? What are their hate cards? How can I combat against that? And something I'm gonna do if I have the spare time, and I will have it, at least on a Thursday or like in my downtime on Friday, is on the back of my sideboard guide, I'm gonna write down stock deck lists. I'm gonna write down stock deck lists, that's right, of my opponent's deck. So I can just quickly take a glance, what's Hogak playing? Is it Phoenix playing? What's Mono Red Phoenix playing? What's in their sideboard? What's Jund playing? Just a list of all the cards. So I won't be surprised when they're playing it against me. So that's one way of preparing for my opponents. I've never done before because I was like super sharp with the lists. But everyone has like variations. So I'm going to be prepared by, on the back of my sideboard guide, I'm going to try to list a few decks at least, prominent decks that I can glance at to see, what's coming in games 2 and 3. So another thing, someone asked me how many Force of Negation I'm running. I'm going to run 4. I'm going to run 4 in the main deck. It's not good against Hogak. I don't really like it. I really don't like Force of Negation against Hogak. They literally have 4 Faithless Looting, and they don't even like to play Faithless Looting on turn 1 if they can help it. They'll play Stitcher Supplier instead. Stitcher Supplier does a similar job as Faithless Looting, but it digs deeper into the deck, and it also puts a body on the board. So Faithless Looting isn't even the go-to thing to do on turn 1. So it's going to be poor against them, but it's going to be playable against basically everything else. From Jund, Blue-White Control, Burn, Mono Red Phoenix. Is it Phoenix? Force Negation is going to be the card to play in the main deck. So I'm going to have 4 of them. What I'm replacing for Silvergill Adept, I don't know. How you doing, Chubby Meatball? What are you doing? This is always the dirty portion of our trip. What other things am I preparing? I bought my deck sleeves at home. You can get deck sleeves at the GP. However, you may not get the ones you want. They don't have like an unlimited supply of every color, every variation. So if there is a particular deck sleeve that you like to play with, get it at home. And why are you getting deck sleeves? Because you need you need fresh deck sleeves. If you're gonna spend like hundreds of dollars on hotel and food and traveling and entry fee to go to a Grand Prix, spend a few dollars on new deck sleeves. You can't bring your ratty old deck sleeves into the tournament. Well, you could, but you're going to risk game losses. If you get deck checked and the judge sees any pattern at all from your dirty old deck sleeves, then you're going to get a game loss. Simple as that. You're going to get a game loss. So don't risk that stuff. Bring new, fresh deck sleeves with you. So I got the ones that I want. I want these like night blue deck sleeves that I've been using for a little while now. I got them from my local game store. I don't know where Chubby Meatball's taking me, but we're going. Where are we going, Chubby Meatball? We're going. There's a question about, can you build a solid Merfolk deck for like $500, $600? Yeah, sure you can. I wonder if it will mostly take up like ether vials and force and negations though. It's possible. It's possible. It'd have to be mono blue. It'd definitely have to be mono blue. If you're bad at shuffling like me and always break sleeves, also bring a lot of spares. Yeah, well, I mean, if you buy 100, you usually have a lot of spares. You have a lot of spares available anyway. I was thinking, so Gavin says, I was thinking of using the unstable Urza sleeves for my deck. That's possible. Unstable Urza sleeves? Whatever floats your boat. Whatever you're interested in. Last thing that I'll prepare is before the tournament, I will write my deck list online. You can do that at Channel Fireball events. That you can submit your deck list before the tournament starts. This is especially applicable if you have any buys. I should have one buy. Hooray! Hooray for grinding events. You grind those you play out your Grand Prix. You play the side events. Get those triple multipliers. You need them. Cody asks, am I playing mono blue or Simic? I'm playing Simic. It's a more powerful deck. It's got a powerful, more one-drop. Mistbinder is an extra Lord at 2 mana, which is important. It's important. So I play tested a lot, and you know what? Mirror Regery is great, but Mirror Regery is like best when you like still curve out like Lord, or if Regery lives. But really, we need, in my opinion, more 2-drop Lords. So that's why I have faith in Merfolk Mistbinder. I appreciate Merfolk Mistbinder. That's what I'm running Simic because of that. And Collector Oof is a beating. Collector Oof is an I win card. I think I have more I win cards in this version of Merfolk than I ever had before. I have I'm gonna have 4 Collector Oof. I'm probably gonna have 4 Grafdigger's Cage, which is probably not exactly an I win card, but like pretty good. And I'm gonna have 4 Chalice of the Void. Chalice of the Void, when played against Mono Red Phoenix or Izzet Phoenix, is going to destroy them. Hey, Derek. Derek Peristi is in the chat. I'm going to have 4 Chalice of the Void, very powerful. I'm going to have, what's it called? 4 Collector Oof. If you play that against Whir or Affinity or Tron, and they can't deal with it, they just lose. Like, basically. Like, Tron, like, better have, like, some really good answer to it because they get crushed. Your Ballista does nothing, your Oblivion Stone does nothing, your Mana Rocks do nothing. You can't search for Blast Zone with your Expedition map anymore. You just can't do it. What do you want? Grass is getting eaten. Or maybe she found a bug. Sam Goldman says, you get a good deal on sleeves on the Sun if I pick up a case for 70. Yeah, you can. Oh, I'm running out. So Mikey says, is Vapor Snag ever coming back or is it relegated to the toolbox forever? Mikey, I would play with Vapor Snag right now, but I'm playing with Chalice of the Void. And because of that, that's why I'm not playing with Vapor Snag. That's basically the only reason. Yeah, so otherwise I would probably pick up Vapor Snag. I think it's relatively good right now, but I'm playing with Chalice of the Void and it's just a non-bow. Francisco says, do you already have your Japanese foil speakers? I actually do have Japanese foil speakers. This might be a discussion for another video, but I've just recently bought into the deck completely non-foil because I don't know what the direction is. Well, first off, I knew the GP was coming up and I can't get a hold of Foil Horizon lands. Well, I have like billions of store credit that I want to use to buy foil Horizon Lands, to buy foil Force Negations, and every single time they're in stock, they disappear. So I didn't want to play this upcoming GP with a foil Japanese Merfolk deck with exactly the Horizon Lands and the Force Negations non-foil. If I did like really well in the event, I think a lot of people would like be looking at me thinking, you know, Nikachu should know better than have these exact cards not be non-foiled. Like in essence, they could be considered marked. Some card being non-foil, very specific cards being non-foil. So because this was also Simic, and I wasn't sure if I wanted to buy into the whole foil Simic Merfolk toolbox, I bought the entire regular Merfolk deck non-foil. That was easy enough to acquire, which is why I had to run and get some non-foil chalices, because I got tons of foil chalices. So Derek Pristy says, you know, Chubby Meatball, Lord Magicus, how comfortable are you without any answer to bridge? Not really comfortable, but fact of the matter is, if I look after my last 50 matches, I don't see bridge at all. Karn the Great Creator gone super down in numbers, and if someone does play Karn the Great Creator, they are usually looking for Mycosynth Lattice or Walking Ballista or something like that. The latest Tron list, because of the Mythic Championship finish, the winning Mythic Championship Tron list did not play Karn the Great Creator. Therefore, a lot of the Tron decks now are not playing with Karn the Great Creator. They're just following the trend, and it's doing well. The non-Karn version is doing well, which actually means Affinity might have a little bit more leg room to play, because all they would have to be afraid of is what's it called? Eldrazi Tron playing Karn the Great Creator. So anyway, that's my evaluation on bridge. Like, not. Certainly Whir can play bridge. They can. I have to hope that I can counter or kill them before it matters. Like, maybe some other decks did play bridge, but I killed them before they could do anything. And that's what matters. So for example, Simic is so strong, so powerful, gets out in front so quickly that I can kill people before they play bridge. With Mono Blue, it's so clunky. You play turn 2 Silvergill Adept, you know you're not going to kill them by turn 4. You know it. You know you cannot kill them by turn 4. It's not happening. But with Simic, you can reliably kill people by turn 4, put the pressure on them to find that bridge, put it in play, and have it make a difference. We got a lot of questions, which is good. Got lots of questions. Jake, billions, insert evil smiley face. Sam Goldman says, this is why I sold my foil burn deck. Send some of those chalices my way, Gavin says. Ryan Murray says, did you decide to go with 6 1-drop creatures? I might end up going with 8. It looks like, I feel like I'm in the direction to play 8 1-drop creatures. Jake says, do you think Chalice of the Void will be good against the Colossus Hammer deck? I have no idea what that is, sorry. Gavin says, I can always use an extra few play tests. What you think the matchup Jund, Ren, and 6, and what cards you side in? So I think Jund changes things. Without a doubt, Jund is changing things. For example, Spreading Seas is not as good as it used to be against Jund because of Ren and 6. So if you have Spreading Seas early in the game, that's great. If you don't have Spreading Seas early in the game, and they play Ren and 6, they can start getting more lands, and now Spreading Seas becomes less of a mana screw card and much more of a creature removal card, and also just a means of getting Island Walk. So what would I side in? I have 2 more Spreading Seas in the sideboard, and I have like a Deprive that also might become a Cryptic Command, whatever. I have a counter spell. I don't really feel like bringing in Chalice against them. I don't want to do that. Chubby Meatball is pulling me. What are you doing, Chubby Meatball? I don't know where you want to go. She's making up her own mind. So I don't like, so I'm just probably going to be bringing in like the 2 Spreading Seas, a counter spell, take out like 3 Aether Vial. That's about it, just for threat density. I sort of like Aether Vial, and but they do have like a few collector oofs in their sideboard, so it's sort of, and they'll bring it in because they're afraid of Relic of Progenitus, which is seen out of a decent chunk of Merfolk decks, and they're also afraid of, like, slightly afraid of Aether Vial. Like, if I have Aether Vial and they can hit it, I mean, it's still card advantage and it sucks. So I'll have one Aether Vial. I still like Aether Vial against the Black-Green X decks. I like it a lot. You like dodge, sorcery, speed, interaction. You dodge the sorcery speed interaction, you put more creatures in play at once to kill those planeswalkers. So that's my plan right now against Jund. Some things do change. But what the matchup is like, I think it's fair. I don't like that I'm taking out Silvergill Adept, but you know what, Silvergill Adept is also a little bit weaker against Jund, because if you play turn 2 Silvergill Adept, draw a card, and they play Wrenn 6 and kill it, so you just basically cycled your damn Silvergill Adept, and they have a Planeswalker on the board. I mean, that's not where you want to be either. It's not good. So Miwo says, don't you expect more Urza Whir? It's rising here in Europe. I don't. I think it's going to be there. I really think it's going to be at the GP. I don't think there's going to be a lot, though. Oh, Chubby Meatball sees a rabbit. Where's the rabbit? Oh, it ran away. Ran away. So I think Grixis Whir is rising in popularity, but it's not there yet. It's a weird deck to buy in. It's very expensive. Have you looked at the price of this thing? The Mox Opals, the Fetch Lands, the Ensnaring Bridges. Like, that's not a cheap deck to get into. And because the deck is like relatively expensive and it's weird, and it's so weird, I don't expect a lot of people piloting it. I just expect it. I expect to see it. So I maybe I'll play against it once at the GP, but I don't expect it in big numbers. I think the deck you'll see in big numbers is Hogak. It's like cheap enough, and there's a lot of cards in circulation to get, and a lot, like, yeah, I just expect it's like the deck, and it's easy to play. Grixis Whir is like a lot harder to play. So what else do we've got here? Cody says, what's your list looking like? Your main deck, that is. No silver. Well, my latest play testing, it was like 2 Mutavaults, 4 Cavern of Souls, no Silvergill Adapts. I was playing with 3 Harbinger, 3 Water Trap Weaver, but I don't know if that's necessary. I was playing with like 12 Lords, and the rest of it was like pretty similar to my other list. You can force Whir, probably. What about test against Thassa? I think Thassa is fine. I mean, I have nothing against Thassa. I think Thassa is a solid card right now, but it is definitely still a card where you're taking a turn off. It's not a... Thassa is not good on defense the moment you play her. She's not, and I don't know if that's good against Hogak. It doesn't matter against control. Doesn't matter against control, but against Hogak, it might be a liability. But there's still a lot of good matchups for Thassa, including humans, any control deck, any attrition-based deck. Thassa is great. Matthew says, "Can you play mono blue? No one-drop creatures." I think if you have enough interaction for Hogak, probably. It's tough. I'm really relying. The problem is that the format just sped up so fast, and I can just expect too many like other really fast decks coming at me, and that's why I want to rely on Simic than Mono Blue. But if you have the metagame that's not too quick, that's a little bit more grindy, more slow, then I think that is definitely like a playable option. I definitely think it's playable. I don't really expect that at the GP, to be honest, though. Sam Goldman, are you going to post your 75 and Cyber Guide for the GP? Absolutely. You're going to have that. Patrons are going to have early access to that on Patreon. And then it'll be available probably about publicly a week after. Hoozer says, what do you think about Thassa and Simic? Probably playable, but not relying on it because not a great blocker. Vivi says, show Chubby Meatball more. She's gorgeous. All right, we're going to see some more Chubby Meatball. Some more Chubby Meatball action. Oh, Chubby Meatball had a sneeze. It's getting cool outside, maybe. What are you doing, Chubby Meatball? Smile for the camera. What's going on? What's going on, Chubby Meatball? What's going on? It's a beautiful cat. Everyone loves Chubby Meatball. How are you liking your walk? She seems to appreciate it. She cries for the walk all the time. You know, my brother took care of Chubby Meatball while I was in Taiwan, and then all of a sudden, I come back from Taiwan, and Chubby Meatball wants to go out every damn day. She's crying at the door every day. She's crying, meowing, meowing, meowing. Turns out, my brother took her out like every single day, and so she got used to it. She's absolutely so cute. Everyone wants more Chubby Meatball. Is Thassa possible in Simic? Absolutely. Absolutely. I have no doubt that Thassa is possible in Simic. Hanzero, would Mana Leak be easier to cast in Simic compared to Deprive? It would be easier to cast, but it would just be a worse card. I wouldn't rely on it, especially since Tron is still a pretty big portion of the metagame. I would not rely on Mana Leak. Mana Leak is sort of... It's okay. You know what? It's not terrible, but Deprive is just like the solid answer that we need. Jay Kenny says, okay, so I have been trying out the Leyline of Abundance plus Devoted Druid combo, and I have a friend who has been playing Sigarda's Aid plus Colossal Hammer. They are derpy, but watch out. All right, I'll watch out. There's a lot of derpy decks. Gavin Stewart, you should drop by at some of the local modern events. I haven't played against Merfolk in years. I'm going to be there for Grand Prix Minneapolis. I'm going to be there. I'm going to represent Merfolk at Grand Prix Minneapolis. You better believe it. I'm not afraid of bringing Merfolk. I bring Merfolk to every GP. Still, currently, I'm in the top 50 of modern players playing in competitive events. Playing exclusively Merfolk. I got to be there to defend my win rate. Although I could easily just drop off this list if I have like one bad tournament. If I have one bad tournament, I'm gone. Whatever, but I stayed on it for like 4 years, so that's good. Shabachi, do you have any thoughts on that recent M. Hayashi style list that went 5-0? The one with the 2 Coral Helm commanders in place of 1 repeal and 1 dismember? No thoughts exactly. Like, I do expect that in the 5-0 leagues that the mono blue deck is still competitive. You can definitely run into the right matchups. If you have enough interaction, that's usually enough to beat Hogak. Like, all you need is like 2 lords in play and a bunch of interaction, and you can mop up Hogak. And also a little bit of graveyard hate doesn't hurt. Merfolk Joe has a list with no 1-drops. Yeah, that's totally fine. The next week we want a meatball exclusive video. She's so cute. Hey, so my buddy Sam Lips said you're cutting Silver Gilladopt. Is that true? And what is your replacement? That's true. Unless there are some disastrous leagues tomorrow. Yeah, it's true. I'm going to be cutting Silver Gilladopt. I mean, we could have another conversation about this, but I'm going to replace Silver Gill with more interactive creatures. Michael Jackson, I'm going to Grand Prix Minneapolis. Anyone in the Minneapolis area, Minnesota, I'll see you there. Lord Magicus, does Chubby Meatball get along with Salud yet? Not really. I mean, she tolerates him, but they're not like buddies or anything like that. Like, Salud at this point keeps his distance from Chubby Meatball because Chubby will just slap Salud. Bitch slap Salud. Alright, what we got here? Sam Goldman, how do you like Phoenix and Mono Red and the Burn matchup? So, like, I think Blue Red Phoenix is close to a bye. They need to get really lucky to win. Mono Red Phoenix gonna come down strongly to Chalice of the Void for me, and also how many prowess creatures. Without Chalice of the Void, I think I can beat Mono Red Phoenix if they have 1 prowess creature, but that's about it. Burn matchup is like, it feels 50-50-ish, to be honest. It feels pretty 50-50-ish. It could be better. Chalice of the Void is not like a win condition against them. I don't have any bomb against them like Master of Waves. So it's tough, and they got a lot of good cards. Searing Blood, Searing Blaze, Lightning Helix, they all matter, and they're all good. They're all good cards. Whoops. Sorry, Chum Meatball. Tripping over the cord. How do you fix Modern? Bans, unbans, no changes? Well, you definitely ban Hogak, and I would actually just start banning a lot of just stupid cards. I am in the camp of banning Faithless Looting because it promotes a lot of speed and non-interactive stuff. I would try to ban a lot of free mana things. Like, these infinite combos are getting stupid. there's just I am definitely in the ban faithless looting camp. It's just created like a culture in Modern that's just super fast and degenerate. Let's try to get as much free stuff in play as possible. You can ban as many Phoenix as you want. There's a lot of ways of abusing faithless looting at this point. I mean, if for the people in the non-ban faithless looting camp, you'd have to ban like Lava Dart and Phoenix, and I mean, I know they're gonna ban Hogak. There's just so many things. You know what? They started Modern off banning Serum Visions and Preordain. Maybe that was the right direction in the first place. Maybe that's how it should have been. Maybe that's just how it should be for like, I don't know how long. Maybe that's just how it should have been. No 1-mana cantrips that are like really good. There was a time where faithless looting was card disadvantage. Those days are dead. Those days are far gone. Far long gone. Let's see what we got here. Miwu, if you're considering Cryptic Command, why not Archmage Charm? Because Archmage Charm can't bounce in Snaring Bridge, and that's the main reason why I would play with Cryptic Command. Sam Goldman, I'm probably not coming to Texas anytime soon. The flights are pretty expensive. Oh, Gavin Stewart. I went to one. I was at the Game Night 500. You missed me. But I'm also going to play in the Fusion 5K later, the week after the Grand Prix Minneapolis. Yes, I said Shabachi right. It doesn't seem that complicated to me. Although I do screw up a lot of other people's names. Salute, yeah, Salute could be doing better. Thoughts on Repeal and Simic? Lots of targets for 2 to 3 mana. It's possible. I mean, M. Hayashi has a lot of winning deck lists with Repeal, so it seems playable to me. Michael Jacks, Chubby Meeple should be Jones and Decatur. Oh, don't you think? Yeah, she should be like that, but she's just not ending up being like that, unfortunately. Modern needs aggressive bans. I agree. Right now it's turned, I mean, okay, here's the thing about Modern. It's evolved. Modern has evolved to look like Legacy. And if you're into that sort of thing, then it's great. But if you originally people loved Modern because it was interactive. It was slow, it was patient. There were more strategic plays. Games weren't won or lost based on just getting like a sideboard card in play. And now it is about the sideboard cards. It feels so much like Legacy now. I mean, I'm playing with like Chalice of the Void and for a Force of Will like card in this format because it's so damn fast, and there's so many decks trying to abuse 1-mana spells, and people are cheating shit in play left, right, and center. So like, Modern still has a really positive. A lot of people look at Modern very positively. Still a lot of people who love Modern, and I think partially that's because if you like the game style of Legacy, well, it's back, all right, and there's no reserved list. The decks are still fucking expensive, crazy. Like, you look at John, you look at what are you done? Done? Whoa, Chubby Meeple's climbing me like a tree. Ah! All right, I think Chubby Meeple wants to go inside. I'm not sure, but I think that's the end of this. So we're gonna cut this out. This is Nikachu with Chubby Meeple talking about my preparation for Grand Prix Minneapolis.